Hello, ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, current Jehovah's Witnesses, apostates. That's me. Studying people who've stumbled on my channel while watching an epic fail. Hopefully this won't be one. Welcome to part 2 of what's the worst thing about being a Jehovah's Witness. Did you hear that bit of air and that weird lisp coming out of my voice there? I did not like that. Let's find out. Now, watch part 1 because it's good, really funny. I enjoyed making it. Never-ending theocratic crap, says Jemba. Meetings, feeling obligated, field service, guilt, study, fear, donations, being answerable for all your conduct. More meetings, assemblies, praying, elders on power trips, pretend love, being nice, 3 times a week to people you wanted to slap silly. Happiest people on earth, even though they're the most depressed and on meds and in therapy. Good God, Jemba, you said it all, didn't you? I could just end the video, but I'm not gonna because there's even more. That's so true. People you wanted to slap silly. The false friendships. We're the happiest people on earth. I can't stand that bastard. Of course you wouldn't have said bastard. The worst thing, being looked upon as weird by everybody who's not a JW, and rightly so, but boy, were we weird. So true. So true. We were weird. Not much you can say about it, guys. We were weird and condescending and stupid and unlettered and boring. Oh, Christ, we were boring. Let's find out. You were taught to stop questioning and turn off any critical thinking skills. That is so true. Being virtually born in, I know I always had these skills, but they were denigrated by the religion, by the literature, elders, and rank and file as independent thinking. Independent thinking and a sign of your spiritual weakness. Do you remember being spiritually weak? Oh, you could miss a meeting and be spiritually weak. You could, I remember, I saw this picture of like a sexy woman on a girl's wall. She had like a nice picture of a beautiful woman on her wall. And I remember saying something crude. It wasn't massively crude, but it was pretty crude. And Jenny Kiernan was the girl. And Jenny tragically took her own life. Well, Jenny and I were never friends, to be truthful. She was a lot more spiritually strong than me. But anyway, Jenny shunned me after that. She decided, no, I'm going to mark him. He's a bad one. At 17, it's clear to me that his life is leading to a bad track of YouTube videos. It's sad that Jenny died. It really is. I'm sure she was a lovely lady, but we were not friends. Anyway, independent thinking, along with the anti-college stance. Remember that? Don't go to college unless you're an apostate. But if you do, go back to the meetings and you can become an elder and tell other kids not to do it. Hypocritical pricks. I saw one of these recently on the Kingdom Hall of Jehovah's Witnesses Worldwide Facebook group. And there was actually an asshole there who was a fireman. And he had said about how he went on and studied in America, got all these training courses, became a paramedic, did all this other stuff. Eventually, he became what he wanted, which was a paramedic firefighter. And now, whenever people in the Kingdom Hall tell him what they want to do, he always laughs and says they should become pioneers. I want to just smack this fucking arrogance off your face. You pull up the ladder, Jack bastard. That's true. The guilt, says XB here. If you weren't doing what you were supposed to do, i.e. you miss a meeting, you get the, how are you feeling? We missed you at the meetings. Did you get that? Did you get that yourselves? I did. Missed you at the meeting. Let's be honest, no one ever missed me at a meeting. No one's missed me for anything. Believing you are right about everything important when actually you are wrong. Well, isn't that, and then finding out the truth, that's so true. Isn't that the truth though, that certainly as you get older, and I have really, really made, although I didn't go back to school, I wish I had been able to, but I've really made great efforts to try to educate myself, read a lot, learn a lot. I listen to tons of audio lectures from the teaching company. I try my best to get as well-rounded an education as possible, and just sort of, have an understanding of the world around me. But isn't it sad that when you do that, you realize how little you know, whereas idiots think they know everything. We were idiots. I mean, it's not just Jehovah's Witnesses, but Jehovah's Witnesses are idiots, unfortunately. The guilt levied against the congregation was unbearable. Every meeting is a lecture on what else to feel terrible about. So true. Local needs, you're not giving us enough money, people. Next local needs, go out and service. Next local needs, stop fucking each other. Oh dear. I especially felt depressed when I would miss service for a few weeks. Few weeks? I did a couple of months in a row sometimes. If you don't go out in service, you can become blood guilty for some of the people who died Armageddon. I remember that. Do you want to be blood guilty? Do you want to be blood guilty? I don't even know what blood is. I've never seen this stuff. I'm so scared of it. I still don't eat blood sausage. Oh my goodness. Oh. What's next? Being stuck in a miserable marriage and the only way out is if one of you dies or commits adultery. That's true. That's true. You know, I was never married as a Jehovah's Witness, and I do know many marriages that of young people, young as me, that failed miserably. And some of the women were desperate to marry guys. You know, if they were seen as a prize. You know, there was a guy in my Kingdom Hall. I'm not going to mention him because he's still alive, but everything I say about him is true. Okay, he had his own house and he had a job selling electronics, and he had a nice car. It wasn't a nice car, but it was a car. You know, and it wasn't a banger like we all drove for the ministry. But so he had his own house, and of course this girl, woof, latched on to a young man because he was such a good guy. But those of us who knew him knew that he was a real shitbird. That he would, you know, that he was hound dog. He would go around any woman he could get. And I remember when she was dating, and I've said this before, but she was dating him, and I said to her that it's not a good idea. You're not a good guy. I know I'm not looking out with you, but we want to watch out. Elders were at my door because he was one of their project kids. Who are you to tell someone what you think about him? What do you think you're doing? I nearly got in trouble for voicing a concerned opinion. Now, fast forward a year, and this poor lady, the sister, gets married to him, okay? And the bus is driven up. We rented a bus from the congregation, and Paul Slaney drove it. He works for Ulsterbus still. He's quite a senior man, but he drove the bus. And as it pulled round the corner of the hotel, it illuminated the back of the hotel of his wedding day, and there was this young brother making out like crazy with the bridesmaid. That wedding lasted about 6 months. And that's it. You know, this poor woman, she thought, oh, he looks like a catch, because there's no other catches. Very sad. Captain Obvious says, while being a witness, I'd say growing up resenting your family's faith, even if you're a believer, always feeling different from your school friends who can't get too close because there's that friendship line they can't cross. It's true. Then after growing up, getting married, and then waking up, the worst part is not knowing how or even if you'll be able to wake up any family or friends. That's even worse than realising you've been in a cult your whole life. That's probably true. I never experienced that, but good God, it sounds horrible. Well, I suppose I did a little bit. My mum and dad were still witnesses when I left. Pardon me. But I thought that it was a fair chance they'd pack it in. So many things, it's hard to put the worst. I would say, as this is Found Sheep says, I'd say living life like I was going to live forever. It creates an unmotivated, lazy way about life. You can always enjoy it in the new system, but not now. That is actually very true. So you're so busy. It's a kind of a paradox that you've got to be busy for Jehovah, but unmotivated towards your own needs. You know, Jehovah will provide. In the new system, it'll come. I don't need to get a big house now. Well, you don't need to get a big house anytime. But at the same time, you know, I can think about my own perspective. And I ran a business. And when things are going good and it's expanding, well, that's great. But then when things are going bad, there's so much more to fall before you're doomed. But Jehovah's Witnesses never get to that height. So they're always very close to the borderline in the first place. And that's true. That's very true. Long-haired gal says, so far as I am concerned, my baptism was under false pretenses. I would agree. And I would never have agreed to it if I'd known the real story. I consider it similar to what a man in the old days anyway would feel if he married some woman thinking she was chaste or virginal, only to find out that she was neither. Okay. There are so many things, but for me, I have to say the meetings. As a working mum trying to feed the kids, clean them up and drag them to the hall on a weeknight, this was difficult at best. And to sit there and be bored out of my mind, pure torture, she says. I found out later I have ADD, which explains a lot. No wonder my mind wandered. You don't need ADD to have your mind wander to Kingdom Hall. After you've been in a while, you've heard it all before. I look back and I don't know how I did it. Do any of us know how we did it? Jehovah's Witnesses, if you're watching this, if you've got this far, do you know how you did it? That dull, boring, repetitive bullshit. Bringing up my 3 sons in the Borg thinking it was the right thing to do. I now resent myself for doing such. Well, I kind of resent my parents for doing that, so, I still love them, but it's caused trouble. It's caused a lot of trouble, to be truthful. Here's the last one for this video. We're going to do this as a 3-parter. I haven't done one of those in about a year, so let's make a 3-parter. Mamo-chan 13. Thought it was Mammogram 13. The way they put down anything creative and discourage pursuit of music, art, dance, etc. No dance, no flamenco, no classical guitar. The funny, our presiding overseer did all of those things. But it's true. It's true. Anything that wasn't considered needful to the kingdom interests had to get thrown out of the bath, didn't it? There was no ability for you to do anything else, and certainly an awful lot of discouragement from you to do it. You could maybe learn the guitar, but that was really for that. Anything else, very, very dodgy indeed. Right, move on. Part 3. Let's go. Like and subscribe if you like and subscribe.